pretty soon. All right, sir, can you state your name, please?
Sure. Hi, Judge. My name is Jason Cornelius Viegas.
Okay. Thank you. All right, sir, I want to confirm some of your information here. Give me a moment.
Okay. No worries.
Um, as far as your address is concerned, you still live in Mesa Complex 4, apartment 104?
Yes.
Okay. And then first name, last name, 623 at Outlook is a good email.
Yes, sir.
Your phone number ends in 9777.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. The state is accusing you of 1 felony allegation and 5 misdemeanor allegations. And I'll first talk about the felony allegation. That is possession of drug paraphernalia or use of drug paraphernalia. Class 6 felony. The misdemeanors are assault, 2 counts of unauthorized open container of liquor in a vehicle, 1 possession of prescription drug, and 1 disorderly conduct charge. On all those charges, you have the right to remain silent, right to counsel, and right to trial. For the felony, I've scheduled you for a preliminary hearing on 5/11 of 2026 at 4 o'clock p.m. A preliminary hearing is to determine if there's probable cause to charge you with that felony allegation. If probable cause is found, then your case will bind over to the Gila County Superior Court. If probable cause is not found, that charge could dismiss.
Okay.
There's also a possibility that the case will go in front of a grand jury prior to that, or that the prosecutor will not file the case at all.
Okay.
The best thing for you to do is to call business day before that felony court date of 5/11 to see if it's still proceeding or not, because we don't know today what's going to happen. On the misdemeanor allegations, I've scheduled you for an arraignment on 5/20 at 9 o'clock. So you will have to appear for that and be prepared to plead either guilty, not guilty, or no contest to the misdemeanor allegations. Depending on how you plead will be what happens next with the court proceeding. All of those options, as well as the penalty ranges for each of those misdemeanor charges, will be explained to you prior to giving your plea, so you'll be well informed.
Sir.
The release conditions on all the charges are obey all orders of the court, do not commit any crimes, notify the court immediately of any change of address, do not leave the state of Arizona without permission of the court. And then on the felony allegation, do not possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, and not to possess any firearms because of the felony allegation. And then on the misdemeanor violations is not to contact the alleged victims in any manner, and additionally to report to pretrial services. So what that is it's the probation department. I'm not assigning you to probation, but you are on release conditions. My intentions are to release you on your own recognizance. You'll need to report to them as soon as you're released. Do you have your cell phone with you and your property?
I do. Where are they located, though, Judge?
All you got to do is call them. So I'll provide you a name and phone number. So when you're released, just call them. They're expecting your call. And their job is to monitor you to make sure you're abiding these release conditions and you're showing up to court as ordered. Any violation of these release conditions or of their stipulated rules could result in your release being revoked.
Sure.
Can you comply with those release conditions?
I can, Judge.
Okay, I'll release you on your own recognizance. Do you have any questions?
No, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I do have one question.
Go ahead.
You said the hearing for the felony was on what date?
You'll get a copy of this, 5/11 of 2026, and that may or may not go, so call a business day beforehand to check. The misdemeanor one, that's the one we need you to appear for. So you'll have 2 different forms. They're called release orders. One will have just the felony allegation and the date on that one. Then the other one will have the arraignment dates for the misdemeanors that we do need you to show for.
And that's here, correct, in Payson?
Correct, it is, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions in that?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, you're all set then.
Still on that business? Right over here. Step to the counter, state your full name for the judge. Oh, right. Oh, right.
Thomas Snider.
Okay, Mr. Snider. All right, I want to confirm your address is on Thompson Peak Parkway? Or is it,
No.
okay, it's the, let me, I don't need the whole thing. Let me just confirm it with you. I had another listing here, and I'll have you see if, let me know if that's the one. How about Tatum Boulevard, Suite 102?
No.
Neither one of those.
No, I don't know either one of those. I live in Mesa, Arizona.
All right. So let me, give me a moment so I can get your forms caught up here. Okay, what is the address?
It's 6060 East Baseline Road. And it's Mesa, Arizona, 85206.
And then do you have an email address?
No, I gave you my phone number though. You guys still have that?
Let me take a look. I guess they had a little bit of difficulty collecting information from them when you were brought in. I don't have your phone number.
Okay. Would you like it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's area code 520-815-8153.
Okay. So you don't have an email, or you're not providing it?
I do, but it's for work.
Okay. All right. We don't need it.
Okay.
All right. The state is alleging 3 charges against you. All of them are misdemeanor violations. The first one is disorderly conduct, filed under a domestic violence statute. The second one is an assault charge, filed under the domestic violence statute. And the final charge is threatening and intimidating, filed under the domestic violence statute charge. On those charges, you have the right to remain silent, right to counsel, and right to trial. I've scheduled you for an arraignment on the 29th of April. So that's in just a few days. That's in 8 days.
Okay.
The arraignment is where you'll need to be prepared to plead either guilty, not guilty, or no contest to those charges. Depending on how you plead will be what happens next with the court proceeding, and all of those options, as well as the penalty ranges, will be explained to you prior to you giving your plea on that date. Your release conditions are as follows: obey all orders of the court, do not commit any crimes, notify the court immediately if your address changes, do not leave the state of Arizona without permission of the court, do not contact the alleged victim in any manner, do not possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, and do not possess any firearms. Do you understand those release conditions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they're not permanent orders, they're just while this is proceeding through the court process.
Okay.
Regarding your release, I'm placing a $1,000 bond hold on you. It is bail bonds eligible, so you can go through bail bonds, which means you need to come up with 10% plus collateral. And if you're interested in that, the detention staff can provide that, or you can post the $1,000 bond. Otherwise, we'll see you on that date on the arraignment for your appearance. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
All right. Being that you're held in custody on that misdemeanor, if you're interested in a court-appointed attorney, I'm going to send a financial statement to you that you can complete that financial statement. And if you qualify, a court-appointed attorney can be assigned to you if you're interested. So complete that if you are interested in that.
Yes,
Any questions at all?
No.
Okay, that's all I've got for you.
Hold on that. Are you ready for the other gentleman, sir?
I am, whenever you're ready.
You got it. state your full name for the judge.
Can you state your name, please?
Arlan Cook.
All right, sir. I want to confirm your address is P.O. Box 897?
897 Fort Defiance, Arizona 86504.
All right. And then Blue Canyon Road is, you live 1.5 miles west of Blue Canyon Road?
Correct.
Okay. And I've got your last name 730 at Yahoo for an email.
Yes.
Does your phone number end in 2180?
928 797 4007.
Okay. So I wasn't ready for that, so that was no. So it was 928.
797 4007.
All right, sir. The state has filed one charge of driving on a suspended, revoked, or canceled driver's license against you. I understand that you had cleared the warrant out of Maricopa County, so you've already taken care of that? Okay, is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is hold an arraignment with you. Now, to be able to do that, I have to get you to agree to waive your personal appearance. So instead of scheduling you to come back to Payson on another date to come and stand in front of me in person, we can do this by video right now if you waive your personal appearance. Do I have your permission to do that?
Yes.
All right. So the Class 1 misdemeanor, driving on a suspended license, is punishable with a maximum fine of $250, 6 months of jail, and or 3 years of probation. There is no jail time being asked of this case. If that changes, your rights will change. But as of now, there is no jail time.
Okay.
Your options are to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. If you plead guilty or no contest, we'll move forward to sentencing today and conclude the case. The difference between a guilty and a no contest plea is the following. If you plead guilty, you're admitting that you committed the crime. If you plead no contest, you're not admitting nor denying, but you're accepting the conviction. Both guilty and no contest pleas show on your criminal history as a conviction. Your third choice is to plead not guilty. If you plead not guilty, then I'll schedule you back to court for a pre-trial conference. That is where you meet with the prosecutor. The prosecutor may provide you with a copy of the police report and any other evidence that they plan on using at a potential trial at a later date. At the conclusion of that pre-trial conference, again with a not guilty plea, one of 4 results will occur. Number 1, the case will in fact go to trial. Number 2, the case could enter a plea agreement. Number 3, the case could dismiss. Or number 4, the case could be continued by either party for a continuation to collect more information. Do you understand those options of guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Yes.
All right. You also have the right to an attorney. Since this case does not have any jail time, there is not a court-appointed attorney that can be provided to you unless you have good cause. So if you would like to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, there's a 2-prong requirement. The first prong is, number 1, you must financially qualify for that, meaning you must not be able to afford an attorney. And then number 2, you must have a cause for one. One would be jail time or loss of liberty. But since I informed you, there is no jail time on this case. And that means if you plead guilty or no contest today, or if later you go to trial and you're found guilty, you're still not facing jail time. If that changes, then your rights will change about the court-appointed attorney, okay? So your options are to waive the presence of an attorney, to hire an attorney at your own expense, or to provide a good cause to the court for a court-appointed attorney. Do you understand those options?
Yes.
How do you wish to proceed regarding the court-appointed attorney, waiving the presence of an attorney, or hire an attorney at your own expense?
Appoint an attorney?
Appoint an attorney?
Yes.
Okay, so now provide the court with good cause. One reason, like I mentioned, is there's no jail time.
I'm not working right now.
Okay, so there's 2 requirements. Number 1, financially. So let's just presume that you cannot afford an attorney. I still need another cause besides that. So it can't just be that I can't afford one. So if you don't have one, then you're left now to waive the presence of an attorney or provide me with the cause that would qualify.
So, am I pleading guilty today or?
Well, you don't, that's up to you. So let me make sure you're understanding what I'm telling you.
Okay,
So before I take a plea from you, I want you to understand your rights to an attorney.
okay,
Number one, you can waive the presence of an attorney and proceed forward and plead whatever you want, guilty, not guilty, or no contest, okay? Or you can hire an attorney at your own expense, okay? Or you can provide the court a good cause for a court-appointed attorney at little or no cost to you. To get the court-appointed attorney, there's two requirements. Number one, you must not be able to afford one, so we're going to presume that you can't afford one, okay? We
yeah,
still have to have a second cause. One would be jail time, two would be a mental disability, things of such nature. So if you have any of those that you believe, let me know, and I'll let you know if that qualifies as a cause or not. Do you understand now?
I understand.
All right. So regarding your attorney decision, do you wish to waive the presence of an attorney,
Oh,
hire an attorney at your own expense, or provide the court good cause for a court-appointed attorney?
I'll wait.
All right. All right, sir, then what I'm going to do, that same form that waives your personal appearance that I earlier spoke to you about, will also have the waiving of the presence of an attorney. So you'll read that form and just sign that, okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions about the plea options that I explained to you? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
So basically, guilty is just admitting guilt, and if I want to take it to court, then
If you want to take it to court, that's a not guilty plea, and I'll schedule you for the pre-trial conference before the court trial date, okay? That's where
Okay.
you talk to the prosecutor and either it goes to trial, enters a plea agreement, dismissed, or continued, or you plead guilty or no contest.
Well, Your Honor, you know what? I don't think I really have time to be appearing to these court dates. My father's on a deathbed, and that's where I was coming from Scottsdale. And maybe if I just plead guilty today
Well,
and
you certainly can do that with the circumstances that you're talking about, but that's up to you. So I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I can't provide you legal advice. All I can do is give you information. So I can explain those plea options again, or you can just enter a plea.
what's if I enter a plea, what would the plea be?
Well, that's up to you. So you can either plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. The difference between a guilty and a no contest plea is if you plead guilty, you're admitting to the crime and we move forward into sentencing, okay? If you
Um,
plead no contest, you're not admitting nor are you denying, but it still shows as a conviction. So both guilty and a no contest plea show as a conviction on your criminal history. Or you plead not guilty and then we schedule you for that pretrial conference that I explained. So it's guilty, not guilty, or no contest.
if I plead guilty, can I be released today?
Well, so what I can't do is bargain with you.
Oh,
So
okay.
the answer is yes, you can plead guilty, but it has nothing to do with whether you're released or not.
Okay.
Okay? So you can plead not guilty and it has nothing to do with whether you're being released or not. Or you
Okay.
can plead no contest and it has nothing to do with you being released or not. If you plead guilty or no contest, I plan on moving forward into sentencing right now and conclude the case. If
Okay.
not, then I just have to have you come back with a not guilty plea for that pretrial conference.
Okay. I'll plead guilty.
Okay. No questions. Are you clear on it? I want to make sure you understand it. So you're pleading guilty. You're admitting that you committed the crime.
I mean, like I was driving and
Well, yeah, I don't need you to confess.
okay.
I just want to make sure you understand. There was some kind of questions that you were giving, and I just want to make sure that you know that the conviction will be entered today. We're going to move forward into sentencing today and talk to you about the sentencing. And then once we get completed, make a determination on release or not.
Okay.
All right, sir, now what I'm gonna do is advise you of the rights that you're giving up by pleading guilty, okay?
Okay.
First off, are you on probation or parole?
I believe I'm on probation.
Okay. Being that you're on probation, there's a possibility that this guilty plea could revoke your probation and you be incarcerated or that probation be revoked. Do you understand that?
No.
All right, so if you're on probation and you have somebody to report to, right?
Yes.
And if you're convicted of another criminal charge, which a guilty plea on this case would do that, it could revoke your probation. And you could, I don't know, that's up to you and your probation officer. I'm
Okay.
not saying that's what will happen, but I'm saying there's a possibility of that.
Okay.
Being that that has a possibility, you then now have a right to a court-appointed attorney because there's potentially, I'm not saying it will happen, but your probation officer and you will talk, but they could revoke that probation, which means you could go to jail on that. So your court-appointed attorney, that opens that channel back up, or you can waive it and we can continue on. I don't know what with your, you know that your probation and your status more than I do. I just
Yeah.
have to let you know that it's possible that they could revoke that because this is a criminal charge that you're pleading guilty to.
So if I do no contest, is that how?
It would be the same thing. All the probation still could be, you could plead not guilty,
Yeah.
and then I could assign an attorney, and then they could assist you about the probation and all that information. So we could do that as well. Or you can waive that and see what happens with probation and still enter your guilty or your no contest plea.
Can I just see what happens with probation?
You want to enter not guilty and assign an attorney?
Does that mean I stay here? Because I'm trying to get to see my dad.
None of this, again, none of this has anything to do with your release. So
Dude,
my intentions are to release you anyway. Okay, so
Okay.
No matter what you plea, no matter what your plea is, no matter what you decide to do with the attorney or probation, my intentions are to release you out of custody. But it's not because of any plea that you may put in. So,
Yeah.
okay, so
Okay.
let that pressure release from you, and then know
Okay.
that you're going to be walking out of there pretty soon. But we
Okay.
still want to enter a plea. You understand that since you're on probation, they could revoke your probation, which qualifies you for a court-appointed attorney, or you can waive all of that and still proceed forward with your guilty or no contest plea.
So either or, I'm gonna might be released today.
You will be released today, no
Okay.
matter what
I'll
your
just
plea is.
I just plead guilty, and then
Okay, but it has nothing to do with your release. So you could plead not guilty and still be released, okay? But you'd have to come back to court. That's the only downfall to that, really. I don't know if that's a downfall, but I can enter your guilty plea. We can move forward, knowing that there's a possibility your probation could be revoked. You understand that?
okay.
Do you understand that?
That-
You can enter a not guilty plea too, and we could appoint an attorney to.
I'll just enter not guilty.
Okay. I'm glad you're changing your mind because I wasn't comfortable that you were understanding it all.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure.
Okay. All right, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you and assign an attorney for you since you're on probation. And I got a court date for you. You don't need to remember it. I'll send you this information over, and I'll also send you who your court-appointed attorney is and their phone number. And then on there, it'll tell you to call them about 5 days before your next court date, so you guys can talk and they can do some work for you on it. Okay.
Okay.
6/23 of 2026 at 2 p.m. You're not required to remember that. I'll give you a copy of that. So on the waiver of attorney and waiver of counsel, I'm only going to do the waiver of the personal appearance. The rest of it is an assigned attorney, so you'll only be signing for the waiver of the personal appearance. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yep, I'll sign your attorney. You'll get an attorney, a name, phone number, and then your next court date will be on there. Just call them 5 days ahead of time. That'll also be on the form. and then they'll proceed forward with the case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You betcha.